Start. September 27 marked a year from the date the President signed three major acts related to agriculture into law. It also marks a year since farmers, or at least a significant proportion of India's estimated 150 million plus farmer population, launched one of the world's largest mass movements against these contentious laws, which the Narendra Modi government has steadfastly insisted will transform the future of Indian agriculture. Para. Farmers, particularly in India's prosperous agricultural states, which generated a bulk of the marketable surplus of food which goes into feed India's gigantic food security program, are not buying it. They did not buy it when the three laws were first brought in as ordinance in June last year. They did not buy it when the bills were speed posted through both houses of parliament with hardly a semblance of debate or discussion. And a year later, they are still not buying it. Next para. In fact, the first anniversary was marked by that uniquely Indian protest institution, the bond, is supposedly voluntary abstention from all economic activity as a mark of protest. The Bharat Bandh called by farmers admittedly did not have an impact in most metros or indeed in many states. But it was also pretty near total in the areas where the ongoing protest movement draws most of its on-ground support: Punjab, Haryana, parts of Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra. Both sides claimed victory. The status quo continues. Next para. What have we learned from this mammoth and sustained protest which has blockaded the national capital, the seat of the Darbar itself, for more than a year? Question mark. Other than the fact that the Indian peasant, when pushed, has an almost unbreakable will and can put up with unbelievable hardships, nothing. In fact, when a certain well-known troll factory started an ill-advised campaign to try and paint the protesting farmers and anti-nationals and even terrorists, the farmers had reminded them that it is their sons who are also fighting and dying on our borders to preserve our freedom. Para. The same overdurate refusal to give it into the odds and the ability to bear unbelievable hardship. Remember the Indian soldiers who fought aggressors on icy Himalayan slopes on nothing more than gur chana in 2 wars, or those who drove back the enemy from superior positions in Kargil, is visible in these protests. Next para. For a year now, the government has used its iron heel to try and stamp out the protest and foiled. It used water cannon and tear gas to try and disperse them. It dug trenches on the roads to try and block their tractors. It used repeated harsh police action to try and beat them into submission. Recall the order to crack their heads issued to Haryana cops? Question mark. Next para. Protesters have been arrested, booked for rioting. It blocked internet access to the farmers, tried to deny them basic services, coerced social media platforms into yanking their handles. And yet the movement lives and grows. Earlier this month, a protest rally in Muzaffarnagar drew 500,000 farmers. Roads in a 20-kilometer radius around this UP town were choked with tractors and farm vehicles. Next para. Despite the scale of these protests, the farmers have been unable to get the government to budget on the three laws despite 8 rounds of talks with the 32 farmer unions who are officially part of this movement. Farmers are suspicious that the law may do away with compulsory selling in designated market years as a bid to X procurement at minimum support price. They don't trust corporates to give them a fair deal, nor do they trust Babudom over courts to give them justice in disputes, and they believe that promises to do away with shocking limits and controls on farmers are written on water to be swept away by the next spike in inflation when they will be again billed the cost of protecting urban poor.